Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you. Well, thanks for coming, first of all. Thank you also to the organizers and the volunteers for all the awesome job that they're doing. So please join me giving them a round of applause. So how is your WordCamp going so far? So far, so good? All right. Okay. Quick question. Any mobile developers in the room? Nice. Nice. I got your faces. Okay. A little bit about myself first. Well, my name is Cesar. I'm from Spain. As you can probably notice, I have a little bit of an accent, so please bear with me. I do live in Hong Kong, and I work for Automatic. Why am I here? Why I'm giving this talk? Because we at Automatic want to encourage everyone in the community to contribute to WordPress in any possible way, including and not limited to the mobile apps. The WordPress mobile apps are a community product owned by the WordPress Foundation, and Automatic contributes actively to the development of both apps for Android and iOS, native apps. Native apps are built to be used in a particular device, and are distributed as binary bundles through the platform's app stores. The advantage of having a native app is that we can integrate with the system, leverage what the system has to provide in terms of accessibility, notifications, media management, and so on and so forth. The mobile apps provide the full WordPress experience, so users can create content, track statistics, stay on top of notifications, review and respond to comments, or as I mentioned, integrate with the rest of the operating system. All development is open source and released under the GPL2 license. And all development is done on the primary language for its platform. That would be Kotlin on Android, Swift on iOS. There's still a few legacy parts of the code base that are developed in either Java or Objective-C. And there's a little bit of React Native to integrate Gutenberg. Right now, we provide Gutenberg as the default editor to compose new posts within the apps as well. That was the apps. Now that we know a little bit about the apps, let's take a look at the people that actually build them. This is us. This is the Automatic mobile team. There's a bunch of merry folks working on native apps. The majority of us are involved or have been involved in one way or another on the development of WordPress at any point in time. But that's not the only product that we own. We also work on WooCommerce, SimpleNote, CrowdSignal, and are getting involved in other products as well as Tumblr, for example. As you can see, there's a significant concentration of folks on that side of the map. We are trying our best to change that and spread a little bit more around the world. 2 years ago, I was the only dot on this side. Now there's 4 of us. We want more people to join us. At this moment, there's 54 of us working on the mobile division. That includes not only engineers, but also designers and QA. We are trying our best to do better in terms of diversity. Diversity is not only about gender, it's about socioeconomic background, language, geographical location. We know that technology tends to be monocolor, and in a way we are still proof of that, but we are trying our best to do a little bit to change that. That was the people working on the apps. Now that we know a little bit more about what we build and about the people that build those things, let's take a look at how the sausage is actually made, how the apps are actually developed, or what we call in software engineering the development cycle. The high level overview of that would be something similar to this. Everything happens on GitHub. GitHub is the de facto platform for development of open source projects. It provides not only tools to manage the source code, but also tools to manage the project itself. One of those tools is issues. That will be always the starting point for any potential development, a GitHub issue. An issue is just a unit of work. It could be anything from a bug fix, from moving a button 3 pixels to the right, to something more complex like provide support for importing media from Google Drive. What we do is log everything that we want to do, every feature request, every bug fix that is necessary as GitHub issues, and we would be constantly prioritizing them. Prioritizing for us means, prioritizing for us means being in a constant mindset of what is it that we can do now that can provide more value to end users. Once we decide at every moment in time what is it that can provide more value, then we push those issues into a development cycle, into a sprint. That development cycle happens in a time span of 2 weeks, usually. As a developer, what I would do is look at the list of issues that have been already prioritized, grab one of them, assign it to myself, and then start working on it. Once I decide that that is done, I will submit that change, that new code, that fix for review. Deciding when something is done is a little bit tricky. If we are talking about bug fix, hi? Yeah, all right. So, a bug fix. It's very easy to know if a bug fix is done or not. If something was broken and now it's fixed, then I'm done. If it's still broken, I'm not done. However, there are other situations where there's not a clear distinction. If I'm working on documentation, for example, when am I really done? When the documentation provides more value to internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, it's a very blurry line. But the point is, when I'm done, I submit what I built for review. That's what we call a pull request. It's basically a request to my colleagues to take a look at my code and provide feedback. This is a very tricky part of the development cycle as well. The WordPress code base has been active for already more than 10 years. Maintain a software product for that long, such a long time, requires making a conscious effort on building the code in a way, factoring the code in a way that can be continued, that can be maintainable in the future. Not only for us, external contributors as well. Ourselves in 3 months' time, we are not going to remember what we built 3 months ago. So maintainability, readability, making sure that the code does what it's supposed to do, that is properly tested, all of that is a collective responsibility of the whole team. So there might be a little bit of back and forth, there might be a little bit of feedback coming, there may be some discussions, architectural discussions, but eventually we're going to reach a point where everyone is more or less satisfied with that submission. That will be when that code gets incorporated into the main line, and then repeat. That's what is called a cycle. Grab the next issue and start the process again. That's how we build things. But now once things are built, we want to ship them and provide them to end users. So that's what we call the release cycle. Every 2 weeks, we have built a new set of features. We have provided a new set of bug fixes, whatnot. So every 2 weeks, we will package that into a build, a binary build that we submit to the test flight on iOS, Google App Store on Android for testers to play with it and provide feedback. And then at the same time, the build that we provided to testers 2 weeks ago will be submitted to the App Store for general release. So we're going to have a build that is built for testing that's going to be in the hands of all testers for another 2 weeks. They might find things that are off, that are slightly broken, pretty broken, terribly broken, or just things that do not really work well, do not provide, workflows that could be smoother, workflows that are adding friction, whatever it is. But the thing is that the things that are not working well would get logged again as GitHub issues, would get prioritized again, and would get fed to the next development cycle. So the idea is that the release cycle, the testing cycle, and the development cycle are tightly coupled, and one feeds the other. And the byproducts of one feeds the other. Sorry. So now that we know how the apps are built, who is building the apps, we want people to contribute. We want everyone to contribute. That's part of what we build everything as open source. So now we have identified a few ways that everyone, you and everyone else, can contribute to the effort. There are several different ways, of course, but the 4 that we have identified are basically this: testing, contributing feature requests, localizations, and actual code. With, if you recall, every 2 weeks we would submit a build to testers. So with every new public beta, we would also release a call for testing in the Make WordPress blog. The calls for tests, even if you are not interested in actually testing the apps, are a really good opportunity to take a look at where the development is going. What's the mid to long-term goal? Find overarching themes and get an idea of what we are working on, what's going to come down the pipeline. What you can do is sign up for a beta, download the build to your device, and use it. See what's working for you, see what isn't working for you, see what we broke, if we did something well, whatever it is, and letting us know. One way to let us know, one thing that we want to know is, as I mentioned, what is working well for you and what it isn't. We always try to do what we think is going to be better for everyone, but that's impossible. We make mistakes, we're humans as well. Eventually, we're going to add friction to your workflows. Eventually, we're going to miss the point, we're going to miss the target, we're going to try to build something, and we're going to do something that is actually going to make things worse for you. So we want to know that. And we want to know also what we don't know. You are using the apps, you are using WordPress. We are only 55 people. There's thousands of users out there. It's impossible for us, no matter how much we try, to figure out every possible use case. We need you to tell us what you need from us. The best way to do that for us is, again, logging GitHub issues. Logging issues on GitHub. That puts that feedback right in front of our eyes in a format that is really easy for us to process as well and incorporate into the next cycle of development. However, that's not the only way. The team is present in the Make WordPress Slack, so that's also a really good way to reach us. Logging in to sign up for that Slack, logging in, and just letting us know, this doesn't work, this could be better. What if you build this? The third way to contribute would be localizations. The apps are localized, translated, not only the apps, but also the release notes and the screenshots. This is a really complex and tricky issue. Even though within the team we speak 20 different languages, I think, but it's impossible for us to catch up with every single thing that is wrong in the translations. Translating software is also a very tricky thing to do to get right. Translations that make perfect sense from a grammatical point of view do not make sense at all translated into software. For example, as a Spanish speaker, the done button that every form contains translates usually as hecho. That's completely wrong. So if you are noticing that something is quite off, is a little bit off in the translation, the best way to fix that is go and fix it yourselves. The translations are managed through WordPress. It's just as easy as logging into WordPress, updating the translation, fixing whatever is wrong. And every 2 weeks, every time that we generate a new build, we're gonna pull those translations from WordPress and incorporate them. So whatever you fix will get automatically incorporated into the next build. Last but not least, if you are a mobile developer, you know Kotlin, you know Swift, you know FTC or Java, just go and contribute code. Again, development is done as open source. There's a list of issues on GitHub. Grab one, assign it to yourself, work on it, and submit your work for review. We periodically review the outstanding issues and mark some of them as good first issue. That doesn't mean that external contributors are limited to those good first issues. That's just the things that we think might be a good starting point. But just grab whatever is on GitHub, assign it to yourself, work on it, submit a pull request, iterate on that pull request, and merge that code. If you're a mobile developer, mobile designer, JavaScript developer, front end, back end, whatever it is your poison, I would definitely encourage you to check our jobs page. Automatic is fully remote and fully distributed company. And in our jobs page, you can see some of the benefits of working with us. But in particular, if you're a mobile developer, let's have a quick chat after the talk. And that's pretty much it. Thanks. I don't know, any questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Cesar.